Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade in
Shade
the
in the
City.
City.
I'm your girl, Treese.
It's Nels.
And today we're jumping into our review of Love and Marriage Detroit, Season 1, Episode 4, I believe this is. And it is Skating on Thin Ice. So, if you guys have not already, please make sure that you've hit the like button, hit the doorbell, ding, ding, ring, ring.
And that subscribe button.
And y'all, I actually really liked Anthony this episode. And I said, this is what I saw episode 1, Anthony. We need to keep it at this level. I really appreciate it. I like to see where we're going. Let's keep the sassiness out of and the pettiness. I know we all have our moments, but if you're gonna be petty with the men. But I'm back on Team Anthony. So let's get into it and let's get shady. Anthony is still going off about needing support and how it hurt him when Latoya's family scolded him for leaving his family. Latoya said she didn't know that he felt the way that he did, and didn't realize he was holding in all this emotion, but does think that he's harboring resentment, which I
agree. He doesn't want to see it as resentment because I think he sees resentment as, of course, like negative, like you don't with your wife, but it is still resentment. What?
You heard it here first.
What?
On Shade in the City from Treese. I said he is going to be resentful. I think
absolutely.
No, so I was just pointing out to the Shade Squad that they heard here.
So is what's his face? Brandon, or already is.
So Latoya points out that, you know, he's holding on to it, obviously, because he's getting emotional about it. And they kind of try to breeze over it because obviously they're with another couple and they're like, we just wanted a boat ride.
Have a good time.
We were not expecting this.
In New Detroit.
Right. Now, Kolby, I'm not gonna lie, this was a little weird, and I did notate it in my notes. Kolby also has a friend named Chelsea.
But she's known her for a long time, for 10 plus years, she said.
Okay.
So longer than she's even known what's her fit. I think longer than
I mean, that's just real coincidental that y'all both have a really good friend named Chelsea. That's all.
It's giving, is it giving Kolby Cat?
Giving Kolby Cat. So Chelsea comes over to the house and Russell is talking about how he wants to make her 30th birthday very special. It's a milestone. So he has a very big celebration planned for her. And he wants to
like that for you, Russell.
In place. They haven't sent out invites yet because he doesn't want anybody to spill the beans about the surprise. Now, when Chelsea goes up to see Kolby, I love how Kolby is like, you better take your shoes off in my house. I definitely felt like that was like a conversation between me and Nels, because anybody else I would might have felt disrespected if you weren't my friend. But because the way she said it in the tone, like, you know better. But I was like, that must be, again, because they've been down for so long, I guess it just, you know, it's like, you know, your friend and you know she don't like in her house, so you just, you know, but I ain't have time to take them off. I'm taking them off now.
And after 10 plus years, like, why do I got to tell you?
Right. So,
but it's probably because she was stopped at the door.
Right. So, you know, then she talks about hooking up with this woman who owns this brand called Harper Ray, and she happens to know the owner, Julian or something like that. She says that they had a discussion, but Julian mentioned that Kristina had reached out to her first to work on the same thing in hopes that they can collab. So Kolby texts Kristina about the opportunity, and Kristina texted her back and said she's unclear of basically what she's asking. Now, I'm going to say this, not trying to spoil anything. I think that, and I can only speak, granted, sisterhood is different. Friend, I don't know. This is a sisterhood. I know there have been situations where even if we don't understand what episode we're recording tonight or what we're watching, or if she does not understand what I'm trying to communicate in a text and otherwise,
That happens
somebody
pretty
picks
often.
up the phone and calls the other before we both get too frustrated. So I'm going to have to say, for Kristina to say that, I think me personally, I would have followed up with, hey, let's have a call about it. If I really wanted to work with you. And even if I didn't want to work with you, you being my friend, my sister, my home, whatever, I'm gonna say to you, hey girl, let's have a comment. I don't know how I feel about that, but let's have a conversation about it. I want to see what your thoughts are. What are you seeing? Like, well, I want to understand the whole thing. So
let me say this, because I want to give Kristina a little bit of grace, only because she was already going through something, and she did mention it in that conversation later on.
okay.
But I feel like it was kind of brushed under the rug. It was like, okay, well, I know you were going through something, but I'm all
We
about
need to
business.
get to the money. Yeah.
Exactly. Um, I do feel that she could have at least sent a text saying, hey, can we talk about this later? Or something to that effect, or responded to, yeah, we can schedule a call. But I could see why she didn't really want to go into it right then and there, probably because her emotions were already high. Who knows? Even if she would have probably wanted to work with her, when you're already upset about stuff, or you're already not in a good mood with stuff,
Well, yeah, not
everything.
even that, but you coming to me about a business venture and my marriage is in shambles. And as my friend, I would be expecting you to be consoling me about my marriage and be more concerned about what I'm going through personally versus a business venture, because the business is going to come. But if
Exactly.
I'm not in
So
the right mindset to do business, it doesn't matter anyway.
that was my point. She probably felt it's not a good time for me to have the conversation. But I do think that even if she didn't reach out and say, hey, I don't understand, but we can talk about it, we can schedule a time to talk about it. The fact that Kolby said, being as she was like, I don't understand, and Kolby reached out and was like, well, when you're free, give me a call and we can talk about it. I think she could have responded with like, definitely, I got a lot going on right now, but I will reach out to you, and we'll have a conversation about it. But the fact she didn't do that was kind of, but I can understand she was going through something.
That's giving I feel away and I'm not saying it. And that's what I'm saying. It leaves when it goes unspoken, it leaves your mind to wander. And
But
so
that's why
that's
Kolby
why I
felt.
say, even though we talked about this the other day, we both hate picking up the phone. Unless it's really to talk to each other, we hate picking up the phone. But if it would eliminate confusion, because it's a lot of confusion that can happen via text, it's so much easier to have a 5-minute conversation. It's just a lot of the times our conversations never end up being 5 minutes, but it's so much easier to have a 5-minute conversation and say, hey, what did you really mean? Oh, okay, I get that. Okay, all right, girl, I'll holler at you later when we're ready. And that be it.
But I think that's also why Kolby didn't feel that she was confused.
Right.
She didn't feel that she was confused because she didn't reach back out. She just felt some type of way and didn't speak on it. But so anyway, Kristina has not talked to Brandon since the wine tasting. I don't know how many days this is in TV time, but to me it seemed like it was a long
I feel
time.
like he said he left, the wine tasting was on like a Thursday.
Yeah, he said like the whole weekend, I think.
Yeah, he was gone the whole weekend.
So he
That,
left the house.
that's
Huh?
real convenient.
Right. So he left the house and didn't come back. And now she said it's time to talk to their marriage mentors. And Brandon better be there. And he did. He showed up. And he said at this point, he just wants peace. He doesn't like arguing with his wife. He doesn't like the silent treatment. So don't give me a reason to give it to you. I mean, so they get on FaceTime with their
I
marriage
understand that.
mentors.
I live with
Huh?
one of those. He can't stand the silent. He'd be wrong is but cannot stand when you silent. Cannot stand it. I call it the silent killer. I'm not mad at it.
Let me say something. I'm the type, if I don't have anything to say to you and I feel like if I do say something, we're gonna argue, I'll do everything that I normally do for you. I'm a cook, serve
Right,
you,
do all the shit.
clean up.
I might cut
I'm just not,
my eyes at you while I do
I'm just not saying shit to you.
to you.
You
But
ain't
that's why
gonna
I
get a
said
good
it's the
morning, a
silent
good
treatment.
night. Okay.
But see, I
Uh,
know if I'm in the right, it don't bother me if you don't talk to me. Like if I really feel I'm in the right, it doesn't bother me when you don't talk to me.
I mean, I don't know. I think it depends on I don't know. You know, people can have different perspectives and feel they're in their own right. They're right in their own right. So listen,
Now, if you want to come in, we can have but what I'm saying is if I'm wrong, then yes, and I'm getting the silent treatment, I'll prompt the conversation. I'll be like, hey, I know, da da da, whatever. But if I know I didn't do anything and you just want to be mad, because you just want to be mad, or well, guess what? You just gonna be mad until you feel like getting over it, and we'll laugh about something, or you'll do something to let me know we're in a better place. Other than that, you're just gonna be mad.
I don't care who's right or wrong. If we didn't talk it through where we have a resolution, I'm not talking. They get on FaceTime with their marriage mentors and let them know that everything has got worse. They haven't even spoke.
Things ain't going
Okay.
well.
It was like, how's it been since the last time we spoke? Worse. Get on your jobs, mentors. Get on
It's
your jobs.
getting worse. The pressure is
Pressure is getting worse.
worse.
Um, so he runs down how everything went down, and of course, it's mainly about him needing more freedom. So they asked Kristina for her perspective.
Hold on.
What?
Oh no, I'm gonna let you get there. I'm gonna let you get there. I'm gonna let you get there. But I was gonna give Brandon his because I know we've been hard on Brandon. But when Brandon sat in this meeting and he admitted, oh, I felt like I wasn't able to move and do because I called me now for your free reading. I think I said this last episode where I said, yo, he's not where he wants to be in life. And because of that, he takes that out on her and uses her as an excuse. And he was like, yeah, I was the man before I was married. I was able to be in a club and do these things and da da da. And he may not be, he was more well known, but he wasn't where he wanted to be in life. And then obviously marriage, kids slows you down. If you're doing it right, it should
Well,
slow you down a little bit.
he takes it out on her because he feels like she's not giving him the freedom. She's the one holding him back. She's stopping him from being able to go to the club. And he was well known because he was able to be in the club before. And now she doesn't want him to be in the club. So he feels that that's the cause for him
Well,
not being out there.
I feel like that's also I think they need a lot more mentorship. And I think that that also comes with trust and her realizing that I do think it, and I thought personally, and I know you probably thought it was bullshit, but you know, I'm a very affectionate person. So I actually thought this moment when they were speaking to the mentor and they were all kissy, kissy, face, or whatever. And he's like,
It
oh, I think,
aggravated me.
huh?
It aggravated me.
Right. It aggravated you. For me, I said, yo, I think that he just doesn't want to argue. So I do think that he was just trying to.
Well, then stop giving me a reason to argue. How
Right.
about you?
But I do
How about you
want to argue.
find something in that field that's not a thought job? Okay. Okay. And at your big age, so that you can be successful without having to be out in the club and disrespecting your family, because apparently she thinks it's disrespectful. She doesn't like it. And I'm sure this is not something new,
Well,
but
I was gonna say, I think that if the trust were there,
I don't think so. I think because she didn't say about, she said about the artist with the trust. She didn't say nothing about the club with the trust. She said she doesn't feel that her husband has any need to be in the club. She's just against it. So I don't think whether she trusted him or not, she's going to be okay with him being in the club. And if your
okay,
whole career,
Nels has points. Nels has points.
if your whole career is has anything to do with you being in the club and you know that that's what your wife does not want, you're going to have to choose one. Otherwise, y'all are going to keep on bumping heads. Get your ass out of the club.
Well, yeah.
So basically, they asked Kristina for her perspective, and she said that they made her feel like she was holding him back from his career, and it's all her fault that he's not where he wants to be. She also felt like, during the whole conversation, she felt belittled, unsafe, and unprotected. And he mentioned that he was done with the marriage. And he tried to say, oh, well, you said something to lead me there. And the mentor's like, yeah, we ain't about to do no finger pointing.
We not doing that.
Because you won't ever reconcile doing that. So he says that he understands where they're coming from, and he apologized and said that he will never say those words again. That don't mean you ain't gonna act on it, sir, because you be.
I don't know.
Sir, just like.
I thought I was the only one. I wouldn't want to sing that forever. I'll feel love when we do things like throw our hands up.
That's how he want to be. Like, how old is he again? Do we know?
Look, MH went got him a young girl, went and sat his ass down in the house with the couch. That's where he at. Okay. So Kolby and Russell are going to her father's church. But as I said last episode, if y'all didn't know, I told y'all got to be listening to me when I speak, because I don't be speaking ignorantly most of the time. So LaToya's daddy is a preacher. And so they went to his church, and Anthony, she wants Anthony to address her father and basically speak about what he shared with her on the boat and with their couple friends, and basically feels like he needs to let that out. He's bottling that in. And so after service and after the sermon, he definitely lets him know he wants to talk to him, and they talk. And it was actually, I told Nels, I almost shed a tear because I thought it was a beautiful conversation between two grown Black men who I think still disagreed on what things were at that time, but they agreed on that they want the best for that family. And I thought that was beautiful. And so basically he tells her father that, I felt like the family was against me and y'all were jumping on me, and it making me seem like I was
feel like a deadbeat dad.
Right. And the dad explains that it wasn't a thing of, or and he says, and I love that he started off with that. He said, I apologize if I made you feel that way. And it wasn't.
No.
And the thing about it was,
he didn't say if. He said, I apologize. I made you feel that way.
Okay. Because I was going to say, it felt different. It wasn't one of those that we see on like real.
Yeah, it wasn't if. He explained that it made him feel upset. He said, I apologize. It made you feel upset. But
and he said where I was coming from, and that's why I say it was such an emotionally intelligent conversation where he said, this is what happened, this is how you made me feel, and then the father responds and said, well, I'm sorry that you felt that way, this is why I felt the way I felt and why my actions were what they were. And I said, if everybody could behave like this, the world would be a better place. It really would. And it literally brought tears to my eyes. Anthony, I'm all about your man's movement at this point. If this is what you are teaching our Black brothers to communicate in a healthy way, I'm for it, boo. Can you help Marcel first? But anyway, so yeah. It was, I
don't know if anybody can help Marcel. He's had professionals try to help him.
Right. But no, and Anthony seems very happy with the resolution of the conversation, and he lets him know he supports him. It just, as LaToya said, was not his season, and the season that they were going through was rough, and them kids needed their daddy. And so I understand. And so Nels broke it down. That would be like if somebody said, I don't know if y'all know Shade Squad. Y'all always hear me sing and do little things and whatever, but that was always my dream. And if somebody would have told me when I was actively pursuing that all the time, that's all I wanted to do. Well, I didn't have kids. There's a lot of other differences, But I can understand if I had a dream and now, actually now would be a good circumstance. If somebody came to me and said, I want you to have a record deal and I want you to do this and I'm going to give you the money to do, and I have to think about leaving my son, not being around him. I'm not going to lie to you. If I couldn't take him with, and then disrupting his whole life, leaving him with his dad, like that changes. I no longer, as much as I may want to do that and pursue that, I have to understand that I'm responsible for someone else. So I understood where their father was coming from, and that just may not be your season. And some people do take that risk with their kids, and still pursuing their dreams. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I just know
a lot of people do.
right. And a lot of people sleep in
but
cars with
also
their kids.
the difference is you're not actively pursuing singing. So you're not, you may still love singing, but you're not as passionate as you were before.
But I'm saying if I was
people will literally move their families,
right,
move their families to them, or bring their moms to come stay, or send their kids to go live with their parents so that they can go do this, because they've been working so hard actively for it, and then it's finally knocking at your door, and it's hard to just walk away and be like, it'll come back around.
No, and so I say that to say I really dug Nels' point, because if you were to tell me that after I've been fighting since I was 14 years old to be that person, and the opportunity came knocking at my door, if I were pursuing it and you say, just wait for the next time around, I might have had to. That's why I said I'm gonna give Anthony some grace. I still don't like the sassiness. I don't. But for other things, I'm gonna give him some grace.
Kolby still ain't heard from this child, y'all. About working with Harper Ray. So she said she's pushing forward with her other projects until she does hear from her. Russell is still out here, not communicating with his wife about his movements. He wants to go meet up with Jermaine, who owns part of the gym. He wants to do a walkthrough. And Jermaine is really explaining to him that this is not the type of business that you just kind of sit back, relax, and collect the money. You actually got to put in some work.
It's not a Martell type of business. Look,
clearly
there goes the gym idea.
You're an idiot. So Russell is just hoping that it's not like that for him, because he already has a lot going on, kind of like what Kolby said.
Right.
Now, apparently in Detroit, skating is a thing. So all the couples met up at the skating rink. Apparently this is not in New Detroit. This is the East Side. Okay. Nobody understands why they're on the East Side. Everybody feels like they in the hood. Sir Anthony, what are we doing here?
Both Kristina and Brandon were like, we're not from these parts. We don't.
They're like, what? Why?
And Anthony's like, oh, I went to school down the street. This is as he on his skates. I love it.
They're like,
it's so like culture, because you could put him in when he's not being sassy, you can put him in and you know what? That's probably why I like him, because you can put him in a room with money and he knows how to function. Obviously, he works for Live Nation, but then you can put him in the hood and he can still do what he need to do. I like that type of man.
Well, after watching this scene, it's got me thinking that the skating rink is more of an Atlanta thing, because the only one that was able to skate there was Anthony. And I mean, it's not like he was like rhythm skating either. He just knew how to skate without falling.
Right.
Now, Russell tells Kolby that he had meetings about owning the gym, and she's confused. She's like, you didn't tell me nothing about no meetings. And he really didn't see the purpose. He's like, I didn't do no deals.
Why do I need to tell you about every business deal that I have?
The thing is, he said, I haven't signed any deals yet. That's the problem. You think you're supposed to wait until after you sign the deal to let her know. There's the issue right there. So she feels that basically she's like, okay, so I share everything with you, all my meetings, everything I have to do, and I would just like a chance to sit at the table. with you. Like, please, like, just give me a chance. How about you invite me and then give me a chance to turn it down? Like, something.
Right.
So he's like, yeah, I'll invite you to what I feel is appropriate for you. Sir, now on top of that,
I told y'all Russell has made his way to the bottom of the bottom. I don't like the way, and unfortunately their relationship is she's so used to it that half the time she doesn't, it's starting to give Marceau and Tisha. She doesn't even respond to it.
what's crazy is on top of that, he plans to pull her from her career and endeavors to have her run the gym. So you mean to tell me you out here making deals, not telling me nothing about it,
Giving more
and you want me to stop what I'm doing and what I love to run your business?
Giving Maurice and Kimmy.
So Anthony invited all the guys to the man movement meeting.
Man's movement.
Man's movement meeting. Okay. And all the guys except Brandon is bringing up
his showcase.
Yes, his showcase. It says that, you know, that he needs to get some investors and some artists, including his artist Naja. I'm thinking of Queen Naja. Naja. Russell said, just make sure your wife knows about who your artists are first. So, ooh, shots. So then Kolby told Kristina that, girl, I've been trying to reach you. Where you been? Now returning my calls. Kristina said that she had a lot going on and she's just really been disconnected from a lot of people, and she apologized for not reaching back out. So Kolby says that, you know, she knows that she's been going through a lot with Brandon, but she's always thinking about the next opportunity. That's where she had me messed up when she made that statement. That I did not like. And they've always been talking about collabing together, and there's been no action. So that's why she was reaching out. I'd been like, okay, well, we can talk about it when I'm in a better headspace.
Right.
I don't think Kristina really should have even carried on the conversation. But anyways, Kristina says that she didn't really understand the text. She was confused about their Harper Ray collaboration. And she said when she talked to Harper Ray, she felt like she was getting conflicting information. Kristina felt like basically, no. She was like,
He
she
tried to
didn't think
go in
she
on
was
my deal,
coming.
basically. She was like, I was already working with them. And then come in and now they're talking about collabs. And I understand where Kristina was coming from. If I had a, but see, I understand where Kolby was coming from, because I would never have a deal. And if they were like, if you were doing something and then it'd be like, oh, I can bring you in, why wouldn't I bring you? I don't know. I guess, and I don't want to say selfish. I just don't think like that. We're like, this is just for me. Like, I don't think like that.
I think regardless to whatever Kristina felt, whether she felt like she wanted to bring her in or whether she felt like Kolby was trying to step on her toes purposely or not, or whatever.
She should have had a conversation.
She should have had a conversation or just said, yo, I'm going through a lot right now. Can we have this conversation later?
That part.
And maybe possibly could have been in a better headspace and maybe would have invited her in. I don't know. But basically, Kristina, then, I mean, they start getting louder and louder. Let me say something. Lil Kolby, well, you know what? No, I'm not too surprised because I did see her kind of like flip a switch a little bit on her husband.
Right.
But she was not letting Kristina get a word out. I mean, it was both yappity yap, 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 but Kolby was much
And look,
louder.
Latoya is in the background, like, well, yeah, she got a point. All you had to do was call her. Yeah.
And Kristina says basically she never pitched a brand, or Kolby saying, girl, I just pitched you Harper Ray. And she's like, okay, but I was already working with them. And she's like, yeah, I didn't know that though. Like, communication is key. So then the guys hear all this going on and they decide to come over. Kristina basically is running down what's going on. And it really boils down to Kristina basically is just not inviting her to work on the Harper Ray project with her. Russell doesn't understand because he's like, yo, y'all are like real friends, and she really appreciates your friendship. And being that Russell stepped in, Brandon felt the need to step in
Because
because he
he
said he
said,
knows
I've
his
been in
wife.
trouble for not defending my wife. So now it's
So
time
I'm gonna do it
to
now.
attack another woman. Not a man that was attacking my wife. Let me go to the woman. Let's talk about that. Because I noticed that. You didn't say when Bravo had something to say, when everybody else had something.
That's why he said it. He said my wife got on me for not standing up for her.
But yes,
so
against two
so
men, not a whole woman.
Well, Russell addressed Kristina.
Okay.
So that's why he jumped in. Russell addressed Kristina, so he felt the need to address them. So he ain't got to hear his wife's mouth.
But Brandon was sassy too.
So he said this is not the first time, and apparently Kristina mentioned something about a makeup artist that Kolby also tried to get in her bag. Okay, that she was already using. Kolby said that was my agency that pitched Mariah, and she had nothing to do with it. Russell said, basically, what do you mean like multiple times? Like, what do you mean this happened multiple times? Why you didn't say nothing to me about it? Brandon tried to say, oh, well, because it ain't that deep. He's like, sir, clearly it is because you're bringing it up. Okay. And Kolby basically said that we're both influences and we can do the same thing. This man said, well, when she mentioned, he was like, yeah, but when she mentioned something and then you're trying to do it the next day, it's giving Kolby cats. I said, ooh. Russell said, no, don't do that.
No, we're not doing that.
Don't do that. And they got up and left.
I don't play by my wife. I don't play by my wife.
I said, Kolby cat. Did he make that up?
Sassy.
Where did that come from?
Sassy.
I don't know, but I like it though. I'm gonna start using that Kolby cat.
Well, you can only use it if their name is Kolby. But
well, I mean for her.
Oh. But yeah, y'all, that was pretty much the end of the episode. But what I did like the most was the preview for next episode. And I'm starting to believe, like Latoya, because y'all know I'm here for Latoya. Hey, girl. I'm starting to believe that Brandon and Kristina are the problem. Like, you know how you have a problem couple and you get involved with their problems and then their problems suck you, like they suck you in. But it seems like
that's why Latoya said that's their problems. I don't want nothing to do with it.
And it seemed like everybody else is good as long as this problem couple is not in attendance. And because they're not, the only time they can really come together is when they're against other people, which is probably going to bring them together. Watch what I tell you. It's going to get interesting, but I'm starting to think Kristina and Brandon are toxic and nobody wants to be
the problem children.
They're the problem children. And I don't think anybody wants to be a part of that toxic ass relationship. I'm sorry I said it. Call it what it is.
Okay.
So thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit the doorbell on your way out. Wipe off your shoes. Hit the like button.
Comment.
You subscribe.
And hit the notification bell.
She
kind of broke up for a second. No, it broke up, so I didn't even get to hear part of what you said.
Oh, and yeah, make sure you're following us on all the platforms, the TikTok, the Twitter, the Facebook, and the IG. And we will catch you guys next week for another review of Love and Marriage Detroit. Y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.